Well, this is kind of an interesting comparison, at least it is for me. And what we have here is a 1940 triple dot 18, and over here we have a 1937 triple dot 18, and it ought to be pretty easy to tell these two guitars apart. I get comments sometimes, that we need to tell you which guitar is which, but look, the one over here has got a rose on it. Got a lot more finish wear on it. That's the 40. This one over here is a 37. Quite a bit of difference between the two guitars. Obviously, if you know anything about your vintage Martins, you know that your 37 here has got a wider neck. It's got a 1 3/4 inch neck. It's got 2 3/8 of an inch bridge spacing. The 40s over here has got a 1 11/16 and 2 1/8 of an inch. So it's quite a bit of difference going between the two of them. And this is a skinnier neck. I mean, just because it's a 1 11/16, there's fat 1 11/16, there's skinny 11/16. This is pretty skinny. It's got a great soft V shape to it, though. Really super nice up the neck. It's just a little bit skinny up at the neck, especially coming off of this one that's got a round baseball bat kind of neck to it. Not much V to this 37. It's pretty round. Over here on the 40, it's got a definite slight V to it. The back of the neck is not sharp, but the shoulders have a V to them. And so it's pretty different switching between the two of them. And then you got the width of the nut and then the string spacing that goes along, especially with the bridge. The wider bridge spacing on this 37 is very, very apparent to me. And I like wider bridge spacing. So, for the most part, the 37 is a little more comfortable for me to play than this 40. But it only takes me about just a minute or two really to get used to it. And I like the sound of this 40. Seems to me, when I'm playing this, a little bit punchier. And 37 is a little bit deeper, a little different. It's kind of fun having the two in here. Now, as far as what work I did to him, the 40s I didn't do much to it at all. A repeat customer of mine bought it. The action was too high for him, so I lowered it. It's had a recent neck reset. I didn't do the neck reset, but it's a good job, and it's got plenty of saddle to it. I don't know anything about how it was reset. I know the guy that reset it, and I would assume that he did a pretty good job on it and used hide glue and the correct things to it. When it came in, the saddle was pretty high. The action was pretty high too. It was like 0.110 of an inch, 0.105, and it was up there pretty good. And my customer likes it pretty low, so right now it's at 85 thousandths of an inch. So it's dropped quite a bit, and the saddle is just about perfect with that. It's got some meat to it over here. I like it a lot now. Before I thought the saddle was just a little smidgen too high. One thing you'll notice about vintage Martins, this is very common, is the difference in the saddle heights. I'm trying to get a good camera angle here. But you will notice, for instance, that it's higher on the treble side than it is on the bass side. And that's very common. And what it results in, is more even break angle across here. Because the saddle is farther away from the pins, it can be taller and you get a very consistent break angle across the strings. The reason for this is because the bridge is just a little bit lower on the treble side than a modern bridge would be. Modern bridges tend to be a little bit more even across here. So it's just exposing more saddle. But the way I set actions is always to set each string where I want it, and then I put the saddle there. I don't do it to a radius or anything like that, or how it looks or anything. I do it to where I want the action, because that's the purpose of the saddle, is to set the action. So I don't care how it looks. I don't care what radius it is. All I care about is that it gives me the action I want at the 12th fret. And the saddle ends up where it is. But this is a common thing on vintage Martins, to have the treble side higher. Here's the original pickguard. And we're going to go over this guitar kind of slow. Here's the little decal on it. And I have seen this guitar for a number of years. And personally, I thought the decal was kind of cool. It gives the guitar a lot of personality. It's got a lot of wear marks on it, as you can see. A lot of mojo, if you want to call it that. The back, of course, is pretty beat up, pretty scrapped. But that's all right. This is a guitar that you would take out and play and not ever have to worry about a scratch. So, got a strap button in it. It was at one time, evidently, a lefty guitar. It's got another strap button mark in there. And I would bet, I'm not positive that's the original bridge. It's been scooted. And I don't know if you can see this real well in here or not, but it has little divots right here that have been filled in. So something was going on there. Maybe the bridge was bolted on there, would be my guess. That's pretty common. But you can see that it doesn't quite match the footprint exactly. So something's gone on there. But that's okay. It's a good looking bridge. If it's not the original, it's a nice looking bridge, and it's got some wear and tear on it now, so it looks like it's part of the guitar. Back of the neck has been not shaved, but the finish has been taken off. I would guess it probably wore off and they smoothed it off. So it's got a nice smooth finish on it now. It's got these tuners. And these are different from the 37s. These actually stay in tune pretty good. The 37's got some issues with the tuners right now. So let's get the 37. There's the 37, and this one, customer delivered it to me, and we discussed several things that were wrong with it. Someone else had reset the neck. They didn't give it enough angle. It came in with the action at 145 and a saddle height of about 125, which means that if you wanted to get it down to a reasonable playing angle, you would have 0 saddle left. So I gave him the bad news, and I said it's got to have another reset. When I took the neck off, the other guy had used tight bond glue on it, which is a travesty. This should have hot hide glue on it. So I cleaned up all the old glue, all the old junk, glued it back together correctly the way it ought to be. This one has popsicle brace cracks. You can see the cracks right here. And I don't know anything about the history of those. The owner said they didn't have those when he took it in. Whatever. Because of these pre-existing cracks, I went ahead and put in my trapezoid support brace that goes right here. It's what I use to fix cracks like this when they're really bad and the guitar is caved in. And there's still no popsicle brace. Originally, there's no popsicle brace. But it does have a new trapezoid brace that goes over here and spans the cracks and goes in between the neck block and the sound hole brace to hopefully prevent any further damage there. I kind of hated to add, something like that. But you've got to protect the guitar. So I did do that. Then I reset the neck. I did a compression fret job on it. It had too much relief. I did a compression fret job, took most of the relief out. It's got a nice flat neck right now. I had to, pinholes were really worn out so that the ball end is pulling up into the bridge plate, and used dust and glue, filled those in, reslotted the bridge. We've got ebony pins in it right now. It's probably going to get antique acoustics too, and I'll let the owner decide which ones he likes better. And there's my saddle. And same thing as the other one, you can see that it's taller on the treble side than it is over on the bass side. Got lots of height though, plenty to adjust there. That's probably the original bridge. Everything else looks nice. This one's definitely in really, really good shape. It's been under a bed probably for most of its life, is what I understand. You can see very few, it's got a few dings. It was played a little bit. But it's in spectacularly good shape really for 1937 Martin. A couple of dings over here. A scratch across the pickguard. These pickguards are something. You just can't get anything like this pickguard material these days. There's some stuff that looks pretty close, but you can tell an old pickguard. So, these tuners are giving me a lot of trouble. I really don't like to replace tuners very often, especially on vintage guitars like this, but these are pretty bad. And if you bump them just a little bit, it'll actually spin, and then you're really out of tune. And it's like a 12-to-1 ratio, so it takes just a tiny touch and it'll jump quite a bit. We are going to replace them with weight. The problem is that the tuner shaft is pretty small here. It's .020, just a little under .020. It's like .218. And Waverly shafts, Goto, go over 18-to-1s. All of those are quarter of an inch, .25, and they will not fit through the hole in the headstock, and definitely won't fit through the bushings up front. I don't want to drill holes in the headstock. And I would really like to use the original bushings just so that you got that original look. So what we're going to do, I'm going to get a set of relic Waverlys with the oval buttons and put them on a lathe and turn down those posts to .220 so that they'll fit through here. I won't have to drill anything, and everything should line up pretty good. If the tuner holes don't line up exactly, which might be the case because I can't quite test the Waverlys in there yet. If that is the case, then what I would do is I won't modify the headstock. I would get a file, I've done this before, and file out the hole in the tuner so that it'll move the screw hole a little bit to where I want it so it'll go in. So I'll be able to use the original screw holes, the original screws if I want to, and not have to make any more modifications to this guitar. I do a lot of modifications, in guitars, but when it comes to something like this, boy, I'm a preservationist. I don't want to do any modification. I personally, if this is my guitar, I might battle the tuners. But I've been sitting here playing it and tuning and stuff, and they really are difficult to use. Really, really hard to get it. Last little bit. You got to reach up here and you got to push down on the nut. You got to bend the strings. You got to get it just right. I'd probably wrestle with them for a little bit, and then I'd get some Waverlys and turn the shaft down and make them fit. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. This guitar's also got a little crack brace that I've got to fix right now. Somebody drilled a hole in it, mounted a pickup or something in it, and I'm going to fix that up next. I just wanted to mostly get the action playable because the 1940's got to go home tomorrow. And this one's going to get picked up in about a week or so. So I wanted to get a comparison of them, so I just wanted to get this guitar playing and get it to where I could compare them. So there we go. 1937 and a 1940 Triple Odd 18. Kind of a fun, one of the more fun comparisons I've done, to have two guitars like that of that old of an age, and yet to see the differences between them, because the 40s is a pretty early 40s, so you got 3 years between the two, and a lot of changes. Skinnier neck, narrow bridge spacing, different tuners. They're both scalloped, both got small bridge plates, that sort of thing. But the neck's the main thing. So here we go. I really should just play on them a little bit, because when you got to get another 1937. play on that, Evan? Oh yeah, Panhandle Bag. Panhandle Bag.